Welcome everyone to the Electric Coaches channel. I have a very special guest on the show. I have Lynn Weirdwolf Schmidt, former president of the Miniature Football Coaches Association. He's the webmaster for our website, the Miniature Football Coaches Association.com. Welcome to the show, Lynn.
Thanks, Maurice. Thanks for having me on.
The hobby now has been in existence for over 60 years, from 1947 to the present. And now we have this website that you created, Miniature Football Coach Association.org. What can you tell us about the website?
Yeah, first off, it's miniaturefootball.org, and we also have miniaturefootball.com. But the website started a number of years ago, around 2007, by Brian Nutt. And he actually started a forum, and that was due to the fact that we were having issues working off of the middle forum. They were putting in rules that wouldn't allow us to post certain things and making it difficult. Really show the work that we've been doing and all the customizing and the cool fields we were building, that kind of stuff. And a lot of that stuff was banned from being posted. So Brian, like I mentioned, started this forum to give us all an outlet to be able to put those things up.
Okay.
And over time, as we all came over and joined onto that site, the discussion started about having an association for the hobby,
Okay.
for the coaches in the hobby.
Okay, great.
And that's where we got. That's where the forum kind of headed. Was after that association talk.
So, Lynn, tell us how the MFCA got started.
Yeah, as I mentioned before with the forum, when that started, there was a lot of discussion started about how we can move things forward, and we talked about that we needed an association. So 12 of us: Al Dunham, Mike Gutman, Neville John Aubrey, John Marita, Corey Johnson, Will Travers, Andre Cogdell, Matt Holt, Stephen Martin, Jamal Lockhart, and Brian Nutt formed a committee. So we were the dirty dozen, the 12 that kind of got this thing together. And we had a number of discussions, went over what we wanted the association to be, came up with a mission statement, and formed the association.
Okay, good deal. So basically, it was just 12 guys got together and said, "Hey, let's do this. Let's put together." So was the website part of that discussion?
Yeah, the website was part of that discussion, and that was the amazing thing was Brian Nutt, who started the site. He volunteered the forum and said, "Look, you guys take it over."
Okay.
And that's how we started the MFCA, and it all started with that forum. And now, of course, we have the miniaturefootball.org site as well, which is more of our main page site where people come to right off the bat when they're just searching the web.
Okay, great. I noticed that in the past there were several youth under the age of 18 on the website. Are there any measures in place to help the youth as they come to our site?
Yeah, and one of the things that we do, of course, membership is $20 annually for most people over 8, and that's just for people over 18. If they're youth and they register, they have free membership until they're the age of 18. And then we try to help them along as much as we can. We've got a lot of great coaches on the site that have really helped with that. Derek Gross, for instance, up in Minnesota, league with his school, and has been working with the kids. There's a fellow in Arizona whose name escapes me right now. But then we have a rookie down in Texas who does the same thing with his school. So there's all these coaches from all over the country who are MFCA members, have been working with youth in their own areas, and we help promote that with them by giving them contact to get goods and send things their way.
Lynn, the hobby has been, as I said before, it's been going on for over 60 years. We now have three-dimensional figures. We have stadiums, custom boards. We have players that zoom across the table. How do you see the hobby advancing in the future?
Well, it's gone through a lot of transition over the years, and I think that the future looks pretty bright for the hobby. As we all know, Doug Strom recently purchased Miggle and turned it back into Tudor Games. And so that in itself, if he can get the NFL license or NCAA license back, will help bring more people into the hobby. But for us with the MFCA, it's really about promotion and bringing up the leagues that are around the country. So our goals are to get more leagues started throughout the country, and then to get those coaches and players to join up and start playing in our Tournament of Champions, for instance, which we currently have 5 events going. Those things can help promote the hobby.
Great. We have, as you said before, we have the Tournament of Champions, better known to us in the hobby as the TOC. We also have the MFCA League. What is the difference between those two?
Well, yeah, the MFCA League came first, the MFCAL. It was started as a way to kind of take everybody's different way of playing and assigning some points to that based on how much they scored, and put everybody kind of on a level playing field, because it's impossible to get absolutely everybody together. So now you can play 8 games against anybody that you want to your area, and those points get added together. You have a name of it, the quality win points, and the quality win points are assigned to that at the end of July or in the beginning of July, and you put all those points together, and that gives us kind of a national champion.
Okay.
And that's what the MFCAL was about.
So we've talked about the Miniature Football Coaches Association League. That was first. And now we're going to talk about the Tournament of Champions, better known as a TOC. What's that all about, Lynn?
Yeah, the Tournament of Champions was something that kind of spawned out of, really, Bruce Watts, of all people, was asking, we need to have a national league. And through his prodding, he got a bunch of us to kind of get on and have a discussion about how we can get more people together and set up kind of a rule set that everybody can play under, regardless of where you're from, and across different parts of the country. And so Darrell Brevert already had the Capital City Clash, and David from down south had the Bama Black, and we all kind of got together along with the MFCA board and decided, hey, we can put some series of tournaments together that all played under the same rule set.
Okay.
And that was the one thing that the hobby's been missing for a long time, is that one binding rule set.
Play with certain figures. For example, the Haiti Repro figures, your Classic 11. I like to use my figures in a certain context. For example, the Haiti Repro defensive back figure, I use it as either a quarterback, maybe a tight end. Definitely I'll use as a corner. Lynn, when you work with your teams, what context do you use your figures in? What's your approach?
Well, I'm not known for doing real well at winning, so it's a good thing I was able to get the MFCA kind of off its feet and that kind of stuff. But I do have my own ideas for how players should be used, and I like I like the main thing is that the figures are balanced. And I'm not sure. I think they call it the offensive guard figure from Tudor.
Yeah.
That figure makes a great running back, makes a great quarterback. It's just a well-balanced figure that you can use in just about any aspect of the game, from linebacker to whatever.
Okay.
So I enjoy that one.
Okay, great. So are you more of a traditionalist, or do you like to mix your players up? Personally, I like to use everything. I got figures from footballfigure.net. I got buzzball figures. I got figures from Bruce Watts, which I have not shown on any of my videos yet. And I like to mix all those players up and create a team. So what's your approach when you put teams together? Do you just use classic figures or do you mix them up?
Oh, I love them all. I mean, I use them all. The more details, the better. I think they should all look like little mini McFarlane figures when you get down to it. The more details, the better. The ones, for instance, the figures that Chris Fields and Michael Weingarten and Dimitri Mathias, the French guy.
Yeah.
Those three guys with their painting ability and what they've done with the dry brushing and the shadowing and all that, when you can get that employed into these figures and make them look so realistic, I love those kind of figures. And the more of those, the better. But, you know, they're much more expensive. So economically, I throw in a lot of the Buzzball figures, the Tudor figures, because they're a little less pricey. And
okay.
Some of those are the best ones out there. Some of George Diamond's Buzzball figures you just can't beat. Mr. Everything is really that. He's Mr. Everything. You can use him about anywhere and play well.
I currently play on a custom board which was built back in around 2003. You know, my board is kind of crude. The dimensions are 40 inches from back of the end zone to the other back of the end zone, 21 and a half from sideline to sideline. I think it's about like 22 and a half sideline to sideline. So, Lynn, what type of board do you play with?
Well, you know, up until about 3-4 years ago, it was 620. That was about the only thing everybody played on for quite a long while. But boy, in the last 3 to 4 years, custom boards have become the thing. And I really enjoy a field that's 2 foot by 4 foot. I think that's just about the perfect size for traveling with. It could be a wide open enough field for gameplay and sideline to sideline activities. So that's really what I like to use right now are the 2x4s, and actually started making my own just out of a pan sheet of metal with a field cover that wraps completely around it, and a motor assembly that I kind of learned from James Partapilo, Shabby J, from the 7 inches long, I think, by 33 and a half wide.
Okay, so it's not exactly 6 feet. So you said 67, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So that's basically that's 5 inches shorter. So yeah, you got a pretty long table. So how long is it taking? Are you like playing games on that?
Well, you know, that was based off of the Jerry McGee design. Actually, Jerry McGee's the one that built it, and the whole idea was to have the board built to scale with the men, because the men that we currently have on a 2 by 4 foot field would probably be in real life 7 to 8 feet tall.
Okay.
Where when you play on this large 67-inch field, the men are actually scale with the yard lines.
Okay, so actually a 67 inch table is scaled to a real life person on a real life football field.
Correct. Based on the size of our figures, which are 1 1/8 to 1 1/4 tall.
Okay, 1 1/8 to 1 1/4 tall. Yeah, my math isn't that precise. I mean, I know my fractions, but in regards to the height of the figure, the length of the board, width of the board, hey, you gotta be a mathematician to do that, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, you figure a half yard at a half an inch. I mean, a yard at a half an inch. You got 3 feet, so
right.
So if you have 2 yards on this field, when you lay a man down on there, he's about 6 foot tall. So
okay,
we're within the ballpark.
Okay. Yeah, now that you explain it to me, it does make sense. You know, there's 36 inches is basically a yardstick. Right.
Right.
Okay, yeah, 3 feet make a yard. Okay, if a man is 6 feet tall, okay. Now
when you lay him down, he would cover 2 yards on a field.
Right. Okay, now it's coming to me now. Okay, now it's making sense. Okay, explain it.
Right.
Once you explain it to me, it make a whole lot of sense. Right.
Yeah, because you lay a man down on the 620, the guy's practically 12 feet tall.
Right. That's right. That's right. Okay. So that's how you get the dimensions of the board to match the size of the figure. So that means now you also got to factor in base movement. How fast your figure's got to run in order to cover the distance, so your games won't last longer than 2.5 hours.
Well, yeah, I think yes and no. I mean, Jerry McGee just recently had a TOC tournament in Florida where every game was played on one of these big fields, these 67-inch fields.
Okay.
And the scores that they had were very representative of what you see across the country when they're playing on a 2x4 or a 620 or what have you.
Okay.
And the reason that is because you have so much width to the field that it's harder for the defense to stop these men, and so you still gain, about an equal amount of yards to what you would do on some of these other fields.
Okay, understood. Yeah, I have yet to see a board like that. Maybe one day I may be able to make my own, but I don't have enough space to keep a 6-foot table in my game room.
Well, that's the thing about it. You can't travel with that board. Once you have it, if you don't have a trailer to haul it around, it's going to stay in your house. It's a piece of furniture.
Yes, it is. Yes, I'm sure it is, because my table total is 4 feet. It's that 2x4 you just got to talking about. It's about close to it. On YouTube, I see different coaches showing the hobby to people who are not in the hobby. What are some of your approaches, Lynn, as to how you go about demonstrating the hobby to people who are not in it?
Yeah, that's a big key is being able to demonstrate it quickly and show them really what's going on with how we can control what our men are doing. One of the best examples I have of that is each year at the MFCA Tournament of Champions Convention in Cleveland, Ohio, we've been going down to Canton and doing a demonstration together with a group called the Pro Football's Ultimate Fans Association. And we have about 500 to 800 people that come through there, and they're only in front of our table for a few seconds, so we have to be able to show them right away what can be done. And one of the best things I've done is to put a man on the field on a base that's untweaked. And of course, he sits there or spins or does whatever, but then I'll pick him up real quick, take the pliers and just a couple pulls here and a couple pulls there real quick in seconds, put him down, and all of a sudden he's going straight. And then you hit him with a lighter real quick, and all of a sudden he's going fast and straight. And that just opens their eyes to the possibilities of what can be done. And once they realize that that man can actually be tweaked to go the direction you want him to go or to do the thing you want him to do, they suddenly realize that, wow, you can really play this game in a strategic way.
That's good. That's good. I've noticed, again, on YouTube, I've seen other videos where coaches would be in an actual game, and it would take, like 2 minutes just to run a play. And another one of my pet peeves is, set up fast, get moving. I used to take the game to a former job of mine. I would run plays for these former employees, not employees, but my colleagues I used to work with, and they all had the same thing. The game. You talking about the game that with the men running circles, and I say no, not that. That game, it never was played like that. Let me show you. So I bring the game in, and my thing was quickly set my figures up, run a power eye real quick, and get it done. So I noticed some coaches, they take 2 or 3 minutes setting up, moving figures around, and I'm like, hey, if somebody was not in the hobby, they're watching this video, you spent 3 minutes, of somebody's time, and nothing has been executed yet. So yeah, go ahead.
No, that's exactly right. I mean, I go through the same thing. I watch videos where guys are showing a play and setting it up and setting it up and setting it up and making adjustments, making changes. And, you lose that viewer after 30 seconds.
That's right. That's right.
You've got to get their attention right away. So if you're going to start a video, have that have that team set up, ready to go. Do your talk and then go.
That's right.
And go and keep the game rolling.
I agree. I have with me the winter 2009 edition of the Tweak magazine, and there was a very interesting article in this magazine, and in it were some concept designs of how the hobby is going to advance in regards to its technology. So, Lynn, I see here on page 5, we have a base with an IC circuit. Really?
Well, we were in the mode of dreaming. How far could this thing go? Where could it be, 20, 30, 40 years from now? And really, Al Dunham was the one that kind of came up with this article, wrote the article, and I helped provide some of the graphics for the article to kind of bring it to life. But yes, a base, if you could program into a device your play, and that it would send out a signal to each of those bases.
Okay.
And that little servo unit under the base would cause the prongs to turn and make it go the way you wanted it to go. So
interesting.
It could work.
Yeah. I can see it. I'm a technology man. I'm a tech guy. I do this every day. I mean, the possibility is there. But what really got me, the base was one thing. We have here, the board is no longer the vibrating table. You got the board on page 7, and it's an LCD screen. You tell me about that.
Yeah, exactly. We figured you could program in your favorite field. It would project just like a TV would, so you're essentially playing on the top of a flat screen. And the bases with the programmable device underneath it, would run the way you wanted them to run. So they no longer needed to vibrate. They're really on kind of like almost on wheels that would allow it to go where you want it to go. And you program your play, your opponent programs his play, and all these radio signals go out and send them in wherever you want, and you still have to complete the passes, though. The controller that you see on one of the other pages, that is what you program your play into it. So you would essentially write a playbook into that program, that box, and then it sends the signal to each of the 11 men on the field to go where you want them to go.
Okay. So the screen basically is only the playing surface. It won't.
Correct.
It won't. Okay. It won't transmit a signal to your base. Okay. Now
Right.
On page 8, we have a programmable miniature football play remote. So what was the idea with the play remote? What was the plan with that?
Well, that's really like, look at it this way. We didn't even have an iPhone back when we came up with this idea. So, I mean, we had phones, but not like we have now, the iPhones, those kind of things.
Right.
This is really your iPhone.
Okay.
And you take it, and you can enter your entire playbook, but you would have to program each of your players into their positions to do what you want them to do.
Okay.
And so when you've entered your playbook, then you got to be able to pull up your play, select it, set up your men. You still got to set your men up on your field in the proper places.
Okay.
And then when you turn that thing on, all those men are going to move the correct distances and so forth. And, of course, the defense is going to be countering that and bumping them and sending them off their routes. They're still going to want to run that route.
Okay.
So it's kind of a crazy idea, but
yeah,
who knows?
No, it's not a crazy idea at all. I mean, I can see it.
Yeah.
I can see it. It's just that just a matter of just finding the right company, the right system to put in place and see if and test it out, see if it's possible.
Yeah, if there's somebody out there thinks they can make $1 million at it, we'll have it tomorrow.
That's right. Yeah, if you get that kind of money to put out, right, for production.
Yeah.
Talked about the board. We talked about the programmable base. There's only one thing left, and that's the revolutionizing of the figure itself. No longer will we play with fixed three-dimensional figures. This magazine is now showing us a figure that can actually move. Wolf, come on, man. Talk to me.
I know. Yeah.
Talk to
Robotics.
me.
It's the thing of the future. So here's where your skill comes in and how well you can control your team. You have your little programmable box that you're holding while the play's in action. Well, here you've got, in our illustration, we have a Cardinals player, and we're going to call him number 12.
Okay.
All right. Number 12 is moving down the field. Suddenly one of the cornerbacks is trying to jam him. Well, you push a button on your programmable remote, and all of a sudden that robotic arm shoots up and straight arms the guy. And, you might be able to do that with a number of different players, but you're going to have to be quick on the button.
Okay.
So it kind of brings Madden into live action on this three-dimensional field.
Wow. I'm trying to picture that. I can actually program my base to run. There is no buzzing from the table. And my figures, not only do they no longer stay in a fixed position. Their arms actually move and they can turn their hips. Are you telling me that?
Yeah, exactly. But it's all going to be based on you making that decision to get that figure to do that, because
right.
The robotics be controlled through your
right
box that you're running. So
okay.
You get number 12 on your keypad, all of a sudden he stiff arms.
Right. So basically that's a hotkey basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So that is an awesome concept. It's really awesome.
None of this has been invented, but the way the NFL is going with the rules they have for protecting the players, it might not be around long. This may be the future NFL.
Right. If you play with toys, yeah, you got to put toys on the table. To the viewers out there, these are just concepts. They're not on the market yet. The stiff arming figure, the programmable base. These are just
nothing like these. We were really looking into the future.
Yeah. I just want to make
someday someone's going to make $1 million, and they're going to look back. Well, these guys came up with this idea back, in 2010.
Yeah, I have the spring 2010 edition of the Tweak magazine, and in it, I see that you've awarded Tyler Davis the first place medal for his accomplishments in the skills kicking contest. What was going on with that?
Well, that was at the Mid-America Melee back in Raymond, Kansas, and that was just a group of us from Kansas, Oklahoma, and Tyler actually came with his grandfather from California. Had never competed in a tournament before, and it was his first time out. And MFCA has a way of promoting more about the hobby and getting people to practice their skills. It's run a skills contest at many different locations across the country over the years. They include kicking, passing, fastest man, and strongest man, and Tyler won the kicking contest that day. So it's a great way to promote the hobby and allow kids the opportunity, and adults for that matter, to test their skills against each other in the different abilities that it requires to play this game.
Awesome. That contest is very important because along with figure movement, another issue in the hobby among people who used to play was they never were able to grasp the concept of how to throw the football in this game.
Yeah.
I remember when I first learned how to pass, I lost every football that came on that foam strip. I lost every one because, as a kid, I played on the floor. All of us probably did.
Yep.
And there was a spot in the house where I would play. I would play next to this real heavy dresser drawer my grandmother had. Couldn't move it. And I would throw and I would throw, and I lost all the balls. All of them went under that dresser. And it wasn't until after she passed away that we moved the dresser. My first game, I got my first game when I was like 9. And I lost those footballs when I was 9. I didn't get those footballs back until I was 12. She passed away.
Hey, at least you got them back.
Yeah. I got them back. And, and back then, the vacuum cleaners didn't have those accessories. You couldn't fortunately they didn't, because if they did, I definitely would have lost them then. So,
I know. We've all got pictures of us, and that's one of the things about the hobby. It's one of the funniest deals is pictures of grown men crawling across the floor under tables and chairs looking for that football.
Well, that's it, everybody. We have Lynn Weirdwolf Schmidt as our special guest. I'm Mo Rob. This is the Electric Coaches channel. And before we go, we got to hear the wolf howl. Got it for me? Got it for me, Lynn? Come on, man.
You bet. That's the best way to end a show is with the wolf howl and the Kansas City Chiefs. Ow. Go Chiefs!
Go Chiefs! All right, Wolf. Hey, look, man. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for coming, man. Thanks for coming. Hey, look.
Thanks, Electric Coach. Maurice, you did a great job. We're looking forward to it and seeing more of your shows come out.
Oh, yeah. I got a whole lot more ideas, man. I just got to put it into work. That's all.
All right.
So it was good talking to you, man. You take it easy.
Good talking to you, Maurice.
Okay, same here. Bye-bye.